Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today I got a little quick project that I need to knock out for a customer viewer. This was sent in to me by Christopher Tolbert up in Breckenridge, Minnesota. And I don't remember all the details on it, but this is a pulley that goes on something that he's working on. And it is somewhat of a unique pulley. He hasn't been able to find a replacement exactly like it that would suit his needs. And this one has a little chipped out piece in it. I want to know if I could try to repair it. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do today is we're going to see if we can do a repair on this. I think this is going to be a good candidate for TIG brazing, using the TIG torch to actually braze with. This is a cast iron gear. It's not steel. So as I have said many times before, I prefer brazing cast iron. You can weld cast iron, but I haven't had good luck with it. I've had really good luck brazing. So we're going to TIG braze this. At least that's the game plan. Let me show you what we got. It's going to be a little bit of a challenging job, I think. And we're going to require a little bit of machining to get it smoothed up, but let's see if we can get it done. Let me show you what we got here. So this is the pulley, and you can see here on the back, we got a missing chunk. And fortunately, we have the missing chunk that goes in here. That broke out. And again, we're just going to try to TIG braze this into place. Put it back in there. That is the game plan. So first thing I need to do is get this thing cleaned up real good. So I'm going to just take this over to my grinder with the wire wheel on it and get all the rust and paint and corrosion and everything off of this. We will come in here and kind of V this out a little bit. I want to leave a little bit of the original material in there to kind of register it with. But I also want to have an area for the braze to flow into. And being a small, thin part like this is a really good candidate for TIG brazing, where we use the TIG torch to provide the heat and just use some bronze to flow back in there and kind of glue it all back together. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to go wire wheel this. Be back in a minute. All right, we clean that up a little bit. I'm going to take a die grinder and just kind of put a little bevel on this inside. I think I'm going to start on the inside. That's going to be the hardest area to get. And I'll probably V out the backside. I can get in there with a grinder after I kind of get it in place. I'm going to leave that material in there right now, though, to kind of do a two-step operation here. So we'll just come in here and just use this grinder to V that out a little bit. All right. That should go together, and that will give me a little bit of room for that braze to kind of flow in there and have something to hang on to. It's kind of the game plan anyway. All right, let me see if I can get this kind of clamped together somehow, hold it in place, and we'll start brazing. All right, I got the piece kind of clamped in there with some vice grips, and I've got it sitting up on a piece of fire brick. And the idea here is that this is not going to be a heat sink. Where if I'm just having it on my table here, that's going to be a heat sink trying to suck all the heat out. So let me get the TIG setup going here, and we'll come in here and start putting some heat into this and see if we can't flow a little braze in there. Well, I think I'm set up here to go ahead and start TIG brazing this. So I'm using my TIG torch. This is a Lincoln Electric TIG 200 square wave. I've got my amperage set kind of low, 75 amps right now, and I got a pedal down here to vary this. With brazing, you know, we're not trying to melt the base material. We're not trying to melt the cast iron like you would when you're welding, create a puddle and pour it all in there. I just want to get it heated up red hot, and then we'll melt the bronze rod here into that and let it flow in, just like you were if you were flame brazing this, you know. So I'm just using the TIG torch as my heat source rather than a flame. Could just as easily do this with a regular torch if I wanted to. Move this just a little bit, trying to get it set up where I can do this easily. I think I got better access there, and I think I can get in there with my rod just fine. Okay, so anyway, that's the game plan. I'm just going to heat this up. Again, we're not trying to create a puddle. We're not trying to melt it. Flow that rod in there and get this side done. And then we're going to turn around and do the other side as well. Let's get in here and do it. Strike an arc. And I'm going to start by just kind of moving my torch around here, and we're just kind of heating things up. I'm not really, again, not trying to melt anything, or I just want to put a little heat into the part because it's starting out cold. All right, I'm going to slowly start introducing some bronze in here and see if we can start flowing that in there. All right, that kind of got to a temperature and it just kind of jumped that gap, which is what I want. Oh, that's not good. All right, I'm gonna let that cool down and I'm gonna reset it up. All right, guys, I'm set up again and we're gonna try this again. Let's get in here and get it done. Well, guys, change of plans. I've decided to just do this old-fashioned way with the torch. I'm just having trouble getting my heat right in there with that TIG torch, and just go to my old standby here. I'm going to take a small brazing tip. We'll start by just heating things up, and we'll just use a regular brazing rod, and hopefully my clamp will hold this time. We'll start by just heating that up and kind of getting it to a red color. Shoot. We were off to a good start there. I'm gonna have to figure out something better to clamp this. This is not working out. All right, let me go back to the drawing board. All right, guys, I think we're gonna go about this a little bit different approach. Instead of trying to braze that piece back in there, I think what I'm gonna do is just see if I can build up enough braze in here and then come back and machine it back down. I'm just not having any luck clamping that piece in there, and the more I clamp it, the more it's deforming and not really fitting right, and I see another crack coming in it. We're just going to try to build this up. It doesn't have to be pretty because we're going to machine the everything back off later on, but it's going to be challenging nonetheless, just because it's such a thin piece and trying to get a area of braze to stick to it without melting it off and rolling it down hill. So we're going to give it a shot though. Start out by heating it up. Get my brazing rod ready. Put a little braze down here in the bottom. Oh, about had it and it melted out there. Got to build some more up. All right, I think I got enough metal in there. I'm just going to let that cool down, and then we'll set it up on the lathe and remachine it. So there is our brazed up piece. Again, not pretty, but we got the material in there. It's really hard to build up braze without it running out like we did, but we're going to be machining all this off. I just needed to get that material in there and have more material than what's needed, and I think we've got that. So to finish this up, we're going to turn this on the lathe, and to do that, I'm going to make a little arbor to mount this on, and once we do that, we'll spin this thing up and we'll remachine that area in there. So let me go ahead and get this knocked out. We'll just turn this down where it'll fit up on there, and I'll probably just thread the end where I can put a nut up on there. This one looks like it's just got a pin that goes through it. It's not a set screw. I really don't want to have to deal with pinning it, so I think I'll just use a friction and put a nut in there. That ought to hold it good enough to do what we need to do, hopefully. All right, let's make this arbor. Face the end. Let's use a center drill here. There we go. All right, we'll put our center in. That'll give it some support. All right, we will just turn that down. I'm going to make a little shoulder down here at the bottom. All right, that'll fit up on there. And I need to let me try a screw on that nut rather. Yeah, we're good. All right, let me get that mounted up on there, and I think we'll be ready to turn this out. All right, we'll put our pulley up on here. I got a nut. It's got a deep well socket. All right, let's start cutting this down. I'm just going to start by turning that outside, facing it back to the right length. All right, now I'm going to do the outside. And now what I need to do is I got a little relief back here in the back. I'm going to move my compound, change it to kind of fit this angle back here, and cut some of that out. Do that real quick. So we'll just loosen this up here. And let me get a wrench and loosen my compound. This outside angle isn't really that critical. It's just, in fact, it's just cast back in there, but I do want to put a little bit of relief in there. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this to get it kind of close. The inside diameter is going to need to be a little bit more accurate, or not diameter, but inside angle rather. I think that's good. Now what I want to do is change my angle to match this inside angle, and we're going to do that. I need to change cutters as well. I'm going to start. We've got a good bit of metal down in there. My center's not quite touching. There we go. Now I'm going to come toward the back just a little bit. We'll sweep that angle again. All right, I'm happy with that. All right, let me get a tool and we'll get down to that bottom and clean it up. I got a straight tool here. I'm just going to kind of get down in that bottom. All right, and with that, I think we got it. I'm just going to take a little bit of emery cloth and just kind of soften those edges just a little bit. And I think we're going to call that done. So there we go. You can kind of see the repair turned out pretty good, I think, and I think that'll hold up fine. Time will tell. Well, guys, that is going to be a wrap. I think this will hold up just fine. If for some reason that breaks out, my next approach to this is, instead of repairing it, let's just make a new one. We can either make a new one out of a piece of solid steel, or if he wants to go with cast iron, we can get a pattern made and send it out to the foundry and have one cast and machine it out. Wouldn't be a big deal to just make a new pulley altogether, since he's not able to find one. But I think this will be good. I mean, I've had really good luck with brazing, and I think we got a good solid repair there. I think it'll hold up just fine, to be honest with you. But again, if it doesn't, we'll go to plan B. And with that, that's a wrap. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those thumbs up and comments are always greatly appreciated. Hit that bell icon up there to get notifications when new videos are posted to the site. Big, huge thank you to those who support the site financially through Patreon and PayPal. Allows me to be able to take the time to shoot these videos and bring them to you. And with that, we will sign off and we'll catch you on the next video again. Thanks for watching.